What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it's been less than a month since we got the Marvel Phase 5 slate revealed in its entirety, and as far as Marvel Phase 6 sits now in 2025, other than Fantastic Four and Avengers, Secret Wars, and Kang Dynasty, we still have a ton of dates with no titles or franchises attached. But leave it to industry insiders to look past the multiverse saga, past Phase 6 into Phase 7 in 2026 with a brand new update from one of the most trusted industry insider sources on what's going on with the X-Men and the mutants and what Kevin Feige is looking to do with them going into the next saga. We're going to break down exactly what he had to say about the upcoming saga, as well as the update from a separate source this past week on more of the details between the legalities of the Marvel and Fox merger and why it's keeping the X-Men out of the MCU and for so very long. We're breaking down all the brand new updates for the X-Men, what's going on with them, and when we'll finally see them in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report like we're covering today, and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so as was widely reported in the last couple of days, industry insider Daniel RPK via his Patreon apparently shared that Kevin Feige is starting to look past even the next two phases, Marvel's Phase 5 and 6, to Marvel Phase 7 in 2026, past the end of the Infinity Saga, where the next saga will focus all on mutants and those with the X gene, indicating that everything we see now, starting with the Ms. Marvel build-up, the Easter egg of the X-Men 97 theme that she indeed is a mutant and not an Inhuman like they had to make her in the comics, which was in response to the fact that Fox had the rights to the mutants in the first place, as well as the introduction now of Namor in the upcoming Wakanda Forever, historically Marvel's very first mutant, now entering the MCU. That all this build-up, all these introductions will have to wait to eventually come together in the next saga in 2027, because this news comes at the very same time we heard the bombshell revelation that Marvel and Disney are still struggling with contracts that they inherited from the now defunct Fox universe, which can catch you up to speed and best be summed up in detail, written by editor-in-chief of Birth, Movies, and Death, Devin Faraci, when he wrote, quote, "Despite the introduction of mutants at the end of Ms. Marvel, there are no mutants in Phase 5. I know why. I know why there's no mutants. I know why it's going to take a while. There might be individual mutants, there might be other characters that show a certain interest. The reason why is the contractual situation with the original Fox stuff is going to be in effect till 2025. So if they don't want to use those exact actors, then they're going to have to wait until the contract all expires. If they're going to have stuff hitting in 2025 at the end of the contract, then they'll announce it. But I think that they actually can't go into production until the contract is up. So it's not even that it's a release, they're going to be in Phase 7. You're not going to see the mutants until Phase 7. There are going to be mutants that will show up after the multiverse saga is over. Now, when first you hear this news in context, it seems very disappointing, because one of the major problems with the X-Men over at Fox was they existed in a bubble without the rest of the MCU Marvel comic book universe characters sandbox to interact with. No Hulk versus Wolverine, no Juggernaut versus Spidey. For the record, Spidey actually wins that one by getting Juggernaut to run into concrete and then frozen in place, using his smarts to beat the brute strength of Juggernaut. Regardless, it seems like that's what might happen now. Marvel got Fox all the X-Men rights back, but because of the contracts that they can't get out of and not wanting to use a lot of these actors, that the X-Men are finally going to show up after the multiverse saga is over, after a lot of the legacy characters that we want them to interact with and share the screen with have already come and gone in the MCU. But not so fast. Don't get upset just yet, because there are multiple ways to circumvent this. Number one, a lot of X-Men characters were not part of those contracts, so there are still a ton of characters they can use and can show up in the next couple of years, be a part of the multiverse saga, be a part of Avengers Secret Wars, without having to worry about whether or not those characters were used before. The second part of this is that if an actor doesn't want to come back, then they don't have to worry about that agreement, one of those actors being Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And it was widely reported going into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that Kevin Feige approached both Hugh Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart. In fact, Hugh Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart confirmed this themselves and said the reason they didn't want to come back was because Logan was such an exclamation point at the end of those roles. Now that obviously tipped in Marvel's favor when they pitched it to Sir Patrick Stewart again as being a multiversal variant, but now we know why they approached them, because they couldn't use these characters if they didn't go with those two actors. But if Hugh Jackman truly does not want to come back and has maintained that up until now, that's the way we can get Wolverine in the MCU. Marvel can approach him, offer him the contractual obligation, he can turn it down, then they're free to do whatever they want. And I have no problem unabashedly saying, and I'm sure you guys share this sentiment, of all of the X-Men that could or would show up between now and Secret Wars to suit up next to the Avengers and whoever the other superheroes will be when they fight Kang and Doctor Doom, Wolverine's the one. So hopefully they can find a way to bring that character in before the end of the multiverse saga. And of course, all of the Avengers, all of the superheroes, they're not all going to die during Secret Wars. There will be plenty of those characters around in order for them to interact with the X-Men, even if it's Marvel Phase 7, 8, and 9, even if the next saga is truly the Gene X saga, then yeah, there'll still be tons of sandbox for them to play in. I just really wanted some of those characters to make it in before Secret Wars, and the door is open for Wolverine, whether it's Hugh Jackman or a different actor, especially if Hugh Jackman turns them down. You also have all the other characters that didn't make it onto screen and in those contracts, as well as some actors I think that they will bring back adjacent to characters like Deadpool. We know Ryan Reynolds will be playing his titular character, and then some of the other surrounding actresses and actors, they've been super quiet, in denial about all the questions they've gotten, and for good reason. But now we've got a pretty clear picture of the kinds of mutants that they're going to deal with in the next couple of years, and it's been Marvel's MO to go ahead and do the things that haven't been done on screen already. And there are a ton of X-Men adjacent secondary, tertiary characters that they could bring into play in the main storyline. Also remember Kevin Feige's tease and plan that X-Men 97 may eventually play in to what we saw with the Professor X from the Doctor Strange variant in 838. That's how they may plan to attack those characters in the main continuity and storyline, even leading up to Secret Wars. And I postulated this in one previous video and how crazy this would be to see Kang fighting across the multiverse, eventually in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, also having to watch the X-Men 97 X-Men battle a variant of Kang that's a variant of the main continuity in the MCU, basically fighting him in the animated show and fighting him in the live action show, and it all having stakes and consequences. This is one way, and the way that they look to do this for the X-Men, by using those characters in the continuity, having them animated instead of live action. But you guys let me know down below if it's not just Wolverine, any other X-Men characters you can think of that you want to be part of Secret Wars. I am all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s every 20,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million. The next milestone is 980, which we could easily hit by month's end or next. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos that you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires, hence the AKA during the introduction. If you like today's video, of course, hit that like button. But if you don't, no worries. I just appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.